Near the Jagannath temple, preparations are underway. We're in Jagannath Puri, a holy town in the Indian state of Orissa. Puri is 500 kilometers south of Kolkata, on the Bay of Bengal. Its wide, pristine beaches of golden sand are well loved. The steaming tropical climate doesn't faze these fishermen who dress and work as their forefathers did. While on the beach, this young and physically challenged man sings his heart out to God. In town, preparations for the grand festival of the chariots have begun. Hotels are starting to display their no vacancy signs. This is how it is every year. The 150,000 inhabitants of Puri are about to welcome 1 million pilgrims from all over India and abroad. It's time for shopping. Religious items, handicrafts, and hand-loomed Orissan saris. But the pilgrims are also keen to buy sets of 3 statuettes, Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra, in their miniature forms. These 3 are so venerated in Orissa that for centuries they've enjoyed the distinction of state deity. It is in their honor that 3 gigantic wooden chariots are being constructed before the gaze of onlookers. In a few days, the 3 personalities will be taken onto the chariots. Devotees will gather in throngs along the spacious Grand Road and pull the vehicles by ropes with their bare hands. Jagannath means the Lord of the universe. This face is God's face, incarnated in an enormous block of wood, 2 meters high and weighing half a ton. With a black complexion and 2 big round eyes, Jagannath sports a radiant smile that is famous as belonging to him and to him alone. 2 weeks before the festival, Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra are bathed in a public ceremony where large volumes of water are poured over them. Afterwards, it is customary for the deities to catch a cold, as if they were ordinary mortals. In great fun, they retire to a sick room, where they will be bedridden for a fortnight. Ratha Yatra, the festival of the chariots, is a celebration in great pomp for their recovery. The construction of the chariots is complete. It is the dawn of the Ratha Yatra day. The procession is scheduled for midday, but thousands of the faithful have already gathered. By mid-morning, the crowd has swollen to tens of thousands, and by late morning, to hundreds of thousands, stretched along the 3 kilometers of the Grand Road. Standing in the torrid heat of summer, many keep smiling, like Jagannatha. Others meditate on the imminent appearance of the beloved three. And there are still others. As the rhythm intensifies, time has come. One by one, the 3 deities will be ushered through this gateway and carried onto their thrones. But first is Sudarshan, Lord Jagannath's scepter, symbol of sovereignty. Sudarshan opens the way for the 3 and is carried by a group of pandas, the priests. Walking around the 3 chariots, they trace a circle to sanctify the space. In this picture, Sudarshan stands next to Jagannath's left hand. The white deity is Baladeva, Jagannath's direct expansion. His brother, Baladev, grants spiritual strength to the faithful, and they are now acclaiming him. One may wonder why the deity is being handled so roughly. It's because the Lord is just too heavy to be carried. A forward swing of the massive frame combined with a thrusting motion at the base lifts the Lord forward in steps of about a meter. Now that Baladeva has gone onto his chariot, it's Subhadra's turn to appear, amidst great applause and cheering. Subhadra is seated in the center of the Trinity. She is a feminine aspect of God, Lord Jagannath's younger sister in the tradition. The Trinity of Puri predates the Trinartha of the ancient Buddhists, who held a similar festival before they were driven out of India in the 7th century. This may give an idea of how ancient Ratha Yatra is. Subhadra, being less heavy, is here carried through a narrow passage, just big enough for her size. Her face resting on a pillow of human arms, gazing straight to the sky, the goddess climbs up to her throne in big strides. It is now time for Lord Jagannath to appear. Through the ages, Jagannath has been worshipped in three major traditions of India: Hindu, Jain, and Buddhist, not to mention local Aboriginal creeds. Hence the name Jagannath, Lord of the Universe. From the point of view of today's temple administration, however, not all of God's flocks are welcome inside his temple. For the non-Hindu born, this is the only chance in a year of getting a sight, a darshan, of the compassionate Lord in Puri. There, we can already glimpse those two familiar round eyes staring endearingly from behind the main entrance. It is said that in a time long past, King Indradyumna commissioned the Puri deities and engaged the architect of the demigods in carving them. Before the work was finished, however, the king took a peek, which he had promised not to do. The heavenly sculptor walked off the job, and the king installed the deities unfinished as they were. It is also said, on the other hand, that Krishna wanted these very forms to be worshipped. Why? Because they are the best expression of the ecstasy he felt, together with his brother and sister, when they heard stories of Krishna's childhood plays in his native Vrindavan village. Jagannath thus embodies the mood of stunned ecstasy. Every 15 to 20 yards, the pandas take a break. Not to forget Jagannath himself, whose cooperation in the affectionate struggle of his devotees must be commended. Let's move on. We now see Jagannath being brought to the front of his chariot. The Lord will soon be hoisted along this tilted platform up to his throne, where media photographers have been posted. But for a few moments more, the devotees delight in showering Jagannath with this very particular tenderness. A rare intimacy seems to be unfolding before our eyes, between a crowd and its cherished child. Once upon his throne, Jagannath will again dominate the world. But though he may be God, he can also enjoy a few moments of informal bonding with his worshippers. Jagannath looks as though floating in an ocean of his devoted souls, in this exceptional public mixing with scores of them. Lifting the Lord up the platform can begin. This is no small matter, quite a challenge in collective coordination, and quite a spectacle. Once Jagannatha is comfortably seated atop his chariot, a last few rituals are in order before departure. For a start, let's bring Jagannatha's coffer of personal effects to him. He must not be missing anything on his journey. Puri has two traditional figures of authority. One religious, the other political. The religious figure is the Sankaracharya, one of 4 living representatives of the Vedantist school. He is the elderly man with white hair, who is now proceeding up the platform. Each year, he climbs up and down each chariot to offer his homage to each deity. After Sankaracharya, the king of Puri is getting ready to bow his head at the feet of the deities. Although Maharajas have lost all political power in modern India, they are still highly venerated there. As for the Maharani, she'll remain at the palace today. The Maharaj is thus led alone on his royal palanquin. The elephant, India's royal carrier, heads the procession. And with what style! They say stroking the elephant's trunk brings good luck. The palanquin follows behind. And for the events to follow, none other than the king himself, Gajapati Maharaja, tells us.
Or the sweeping of the chariots. Now after the lords are brought from inside the temple, they are placed on the chariots and then they are decorated. After the decoration is over, I have to go from my house to the chariots and I perform what is known as Gajapati Maharaja Seva. Service to the Lord, and in the most humble way. First I go on to the chariot of Lord Balabhadra or Balaram, and after offering this worship, then I sweep the chariot around the place where the Lord is seated with a broomstick which has got a golden handle, and after sweeping the chariot I sprinkle sandalwood water and then dry sandalwood powder. This is a sign of auspiciousness to purify the chariot. And after Lord Balaram's chariot, Balabhadra's chariot, I go on to Lord Jagannath's chariot and then Subhadra's chariot, and then the worship is over. I come back to the house and then the pulling of the chariot begins.
Without further ado, the drivers, made of wood, take control of the horses, also made of wood. But the real driving force will be the hundreds of men, women, and children who are about to pull on ropes to move the chariots forward. This is how thick the ropes are, a good 10 centimeters in diameter. Wrong start. A wheel stop must have been left in place. And despite the remarkable width of the grand road, the three chariots cannot depart side by side at the same time.
Lord Balabhadra, his chariot is called Taladhwaja, and it's about 46 feet tall, and it has got 14 wheels. So Lord Balabhadra, the elder brother, moves first. After Lord Balabhadra, it is the sister Subhadra, Devi Subhadra. Her chariot is called Darpa Dalana or Devi Dalana, and she moves next. The chariot is slightly smaller. It's the smallest among the three, and it has got 12 wheels. 12 wheels. The end is Lord Jagannatha with biggest chariot of them all, the 16 wheels, and his chariot is called Garudadhwaja or Nandi Ghosha. And most of the people go and pull Lord Jagannath's chariot because he is Lord Jagannath.
Actually, Maybe because he is the most important of all the living beings in the universe, Jagannath is going to keep his entourage waiting for him all afternoon. And how could anyone complain before such an innocent smile? Meanwhile, Taradvaja and Dharanapalana, the chariots of Jagannath's big brother and little sister, have rolled on way ahead. No matter, it's not a race. Half a kilometer down is the first curve. Now, this is an important stage, because while the chariots have wheels, they have no steering system. So, it's a case of pulling en masse to the side of the curve. Still in his starting block, it looks as though Jagannath is finally about to make a move. After Jagannath's impressive departure, we're now at the front of the parade with Baladev. He is negotiating his second curve, this time to the left. The security staff takes an active part in the maneuver. They are Puri's police. And for them, this parade is a sacred duty as much as a professional one. They hold the rope stretched all around the moving chariot to keep the crowd from getting too near the giant wheels. All right, well, Baladev won't go any further today. All three deities will camp out for the night, and the parade will resume in the morning. As for Jagannath, he is now busy catching up with his siblings.
तुम्हारे बेतरा नामक आसे से देखे मुकाला बदानक आसे से देखे मुकाला बदानक